Welcome to Stream of Consciousness. This is episode 5. How you doing this afternoon? My name is Kevin. We're going to read the news, examine the news, see what's going on in current events. All right, let's just go ahead and start right now. No big introduction necessary. We have here, Brent Spiner explains why Data didn't really die. I don't think I need to necessarily read this article to surmise why Data didn't really die. Why didn't Data really die? Well, he is basically a cyborg or an artificially intelligent robot. So his data can be copied, right? Which means that it can be transferred into another device, correct? Or saved elsewhere. It can be kept on ice, so to speak, and then revived. So Data can't really die. I don't think so. I'm not going to read the article, but let's just go on. New Nord Stream sabotage theory emerges from Germany. Straight Arrow News. I'm not certain this is going to be legit. Let's take a look and see what that... Oh, it's a video. We're not going to watch it. Move on here. Add. ECHR has done inestimable damage to the British culture. Let's see what they have to say here. What is the ECHR? Not really certain. Oh. The European Commission on Human Rights, I would assume. Not really that interested. Bill Gates names one technology soon to change the world. What is it? Got to be AI. Truly self-driving cars. Oh, well. It might change the world. Maybe. I don't know. Another ad. That Voyager cameo. Well, I'm going to assume they're talking about Tuvok in the most recent episode. It was interesting. I liked the scene. I really did. They essentially, you know, I'm not going to spoil it, but Tuvok was in this particular episode. At least something that looked like Tuvok. Quentin Tarantino just finished what could be a record-smashing blockbuster. I am a fan of Tarantino. Depending on your age, taste in films, and when you first started developing your pop culture interests, it may be difficult to imagine a world of film without Quentin Tarantino. Maybe you grew up in the 90s and had your mind blown by Pulp Fiction, or maybe you were an aughts baby who considered seeing Kill Bill a formative experience. I tell you what, if you were born in the thousands and you saw Kill Bill in your formative years, I feel sorry for you, because it definitely messed with your head. I liked Kill Bill, though. I'm a fan. Maybe you're a contrarian that considered Death Proof his best. Quentin Tarantino might not totally disagree with his take, or maybe you found him overrated. Quentin Tarantino would disagree with that take. Okay, sure. But now it seems as though the filmmaking career of Quentin Tarantino may be coming to a close. emphasis maybe. The director has announced that the script for his 10th is finished and that it will be his last. For the record, he counts both parts of Bill Kill as one complete movie. All right. What's up, kitty kitty? My elderly cat, he's talking to me. I finished the script of what will end up being my last movie, the 60-year-old said while being questioned by, I don't even know how to pronounce the name. I'm not French. Director of the Cannes Film Festival during a promotional event for his book of essays, Cinema Speculation. He added that I imagine we'll probably shoot it, I guess, in the fall. The last movie will be called The Film Critic and will be set in 1977. I don't know. We'll find out how well that goes. Black community, a message to all black police officers. What are they saying? I carried a badge for over 15 years, and I was trained by some of the top marshals and police detectives in the field. I attended multiple academies and held various certifications and licenses. I have been an impact team leader in high-risk environments, a task force commander, a crime prevention specialist, a detective, and a classroom instructor. I have trained dozens of men and women and hired police officers. I have arrested people, intervened on and de-escalated situations. I do not say any of this to brag, but rather to let you know that I have been around and seen many things. That being said, I must first acknowledge that the majority of police officers I encountered actually do their jobs to the best of their abilities. Some are former military, while others are everyday citizens who needed a job with benefits. And yet others are young gung-ho officers who want to chase people or egotistically fight everything moving. Then there are the bullies who were bullied when they were younger. So now they are out to even the score and turn the tables. Finally, there are the racist and reverse racists. There are the well-trained and the poorly trained, and those who should never have passed the psychological exam. And yes, there is definitely a wide variety of categories and motives in law enforcement. Yes, there are. Huh. So he thinks that black officers are harder on other black people. Could be. Kind of like how parents can be harder on their own children. I don't know. Donald Trump indicted. MAGA maniacs threaten war. All hip hop. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to read that one. In fact, why is this even on my feed? Hide stories from all hip hop. We don't care about all hip hop. Star Trek Resurgence delay. New release date window set. That's a video game, right? Well, hopefully it gets out. Hopefully it's a compelling game. I think the last Star Trek shooter that was really compelling to me was Elite Forces. I love that game. I played it like multiple times. But mostly, most of your Star Trek games are let's pretend we're the captain and fly the ship, and you know, it's, don't get me wrong, those games are fun too, but I'm an FPS person, more or less. 10 movies Siskel and Roger Ebert both loved. Natural Born Killers, they both loved that movie. That's interesting. And you know, Natural Born Killers is really, that is a Quentin Tarantino script, whether you knew it or not. The Fugitive. I enjoyed that movie. Speed, it was okay. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. I'm actually kind of surprised that they liked it because it was really kind of just a rehash of the the first Die Hard, except a different setting. Goldfinger. God, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I can't even speak to it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Who doesn't like Raiders of the Lost Ark? I can't say that I've seen Seven Samurai. The Negotiator. I haven't seen that one either. Oh yes, I have. I have seen that one. It's an okay movie. Hunt for Red October. Yeah, it was okay. Dark Man. Not a bad movie. Give me some ideas on something to watch this weekend, though. Okay, Associated Press. Basically, let's go ahead and touch on this topic. I didn't vote for Trump. I definitely didn't vote for Clinton. Um, all that said, much of what we see vis-a-vis law enforcement or the actions to try to get Trump are just that. They're attempts to get him. He is an existential threat to the power structure as it sits in Washington, D.C. right now. So, in order to stop this existential threat, this power structure is doing all that it can to try to remove him from the equation. First off, if you're a thinking, rational person who digs beneath the surface, you should have known literally within a few months of the January 2017 announcement of the existence of the Steele dossier that it was bumpkus. You should have absolutely positively knew that it was bullshit when it was revealed that the FBI had been sitting on this dossier since July of 2016. See, the dossier asserted that Trump was essentially a Russian asset. The FBI would not just have sat on that and done nothing. In fact, they would have investigated that dossier immediately to see if it had any credibility. And the fact that the FBI didn't, immediately announce an investigation into Donald Trump should have told anybody with an ounce of common sense. See, if there was any validity to it, he wouldn't have become president. An investigation would have been announced immediately, and saying, "Hey, this guy who's running for president has Russian contacts. He's a Russian asset, most likely." So that should have told you the Steele dossier was a bunch of bullshit, and it really was. It was bullshit. There isn't a Russian consulate in Miami. There isn't a P-tape. Michael Cohen never went to Prague. There wasn't any big conspiracy. And another thing, that it was done quite a bit in that time period was claims of collusion. Well, collusion isn't a term of art. In other words, it's not a legal term. It's a wishy-washy word that really has no legal meaning to it. What you could say is there was a criminal conspiracy, but that requires specificity. I can't. Specificity. I can't talk. You got to be specific. You got to be specific about the crime you're asserting and the allegations. Well, they didn't want that. They wanted just to have this air of collusion, criminality that they don't have to actually prove. But in the fact that nothing ever came of the Russian collusion, assertions, and should have told a lot of people what was going on here. But this particular thing, if it really is revolving around Stormy Daniels, Hush money is another, like collusion, is something that you can throw out there that seems nefarious, but it's not nefarious. In fact, a lot of people who have somebody have an accusation against them and there's a settlement out of court, there's money paid to the person who's making the accusation. And then there's also a non-disclosure attached to that money. So you get the money, you can't say anything. And they're framing this as hush money, like hush money is illegal, and it's not. Michael Cohen, in his role in all this, he's not being charged with giving Stormy Daniels hush money. He's being charged with not reporting it as a contribution to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump didn't pay for it. Michael Cohen did. Donald Trump didn't give him money. Michael Cohen did. That's why the FCC never actually tried to indict Trump for, say, paying Michael Cohen to shut him up with campaign cash or anything. It didn't involve the FEC, and Michael Cohen's own attorney said, well, Michael Cohen used his own money. So, God, it just seems like another attempt to get Trump. And I'm sorry, Democrats, I bet this is going to blow up in your face too. The whole Georgia, he tried to change it's all going to blow up in your face. You can't claim insurrection when literally there have been multiple instances of people that the Democrat Party sought to protect who have tried to burn down police houses, burn down courthouses. And just to be clear here, our government is a tertiary system. We have three co-equal branches. You've got the executive branch, which is the president, the White House. You've got the legislative branch, which is the Congress, Capitol Hill. Then you've got the judicial branch, which are the courts, not just the Supreme Court, but the U.S. federal court system. And to call a group of people who got rowdy in a protest on January 6th, insurrectionists, opens up the idea that all protesters, whether it be the people who are protesting Memorial Weekend in 2020 and tried to get onto White House grounds, those, by the definition that you're trying to use to call Trump supporters on January 6th insurrectionists, those people were also insurrectionists. Let's see here. And just as this autofill is already showing, some people on the right are already calling them insurrectionists. But you had this going on right outside the White House, and you had numerous Secret Service agents who were injured. They when Trump had his little walk to that church, and there was all this claims that he tear gassed the protesters, when he didn't. It was actually the DC police who did it. The fact is, using the definitions that were being given here about what constitutes insurrection, this whole Memorial Weekend protest that absolutely did come right to the steps of the White House would be called an insurrection. Antifa trying to burn down federal courthouses in Portland, that would be considered an insurrection. The BLM protests that burned down police stations. Police stations are a facet of the executive branch of state government. Those would also be considered insurrection. You cannot insurrect against a state government either. So I don't know. I'm genuinely um think that God, you guys are giving this guy power that you shouldn't be giving him. You really shouldn't. And I can dislike Trump as a politician, as a person, and still be very critical of how Democrats have conducted themselves over the past 7 years. Because I am. I'm utterly just beyond critical with them. It disgusts me how hypocritical they have actually been. On one hand, their protesters are mostly peaceful, but fiery protests. Then literally the same percentage of people getting violent at a Trump protest, violent insurrection. And this is a good example of just the perverse dichotomy. Nancy Pelosi posted a comment yesterday where she's like, finally, Trump will have to prove himself innocent in a court of law. That's not how our system works. You are innocent until proven guilty, but the system is assuming Trump is guilty until proven innocent. And it's been that way from the get-go. Trump has never been afforded his innocence until proven guilty. With Trump, it is absolutely guilty until proven innocent. And that's wrong. It shouldn't be that way. I can understand why Trump supporters are absolutely livid and pissed off. So pissed off that they would storm the Capitol. I understand. I can empathize. I may not agree, but I empathize. And when you have people who just chalk any defense of this, oh, you're just right wing, you are part of the problem, because I am not right wing. But in framing everything as left and right, you're creating this false dichotomy that should not exist. We should act on the evidence, not on your feelings, not on, I hate Trump, so we need to get him type of attitude. That's going to get us nowhere. But whatever. I've got to get back to work, so y'all take it easy. Peace out.